host of Welcome to the Dungeon with my friends
Ben Knudsen
and Andy P.
Today we're just going to talk about some of the things, how long we've been gaming, how long we've been DMing, what our favorite systems are, and what you need to get started DMing and what we hope to accomplish in future podcasts. So let's start with Ben. How long have you been gaming for?
I've been gaming about 6 years now. I started off as a player for the first 2, and I've been DMing for the last 4. So I have quite a bit of experience under my belt, and I've taught a lot of people how to DM. So
cool. How about you, Andy?
Well, Ben taught me how to DM. I dabbled with it a little bit back when I was in high school, and then as I got older, I decided to start doing something constructive and really enjoyed being a dungeon master at Lionheart Games.
All right, cool. I've been gaming for off and on for about 14 years and DMing off and on for about 6. I just recently started a campaign, which is my first one in a while. I guess what's your favorite system to play in or DM?
I love playing in Pathfinders. I love DMing in Pathfinders, but I think Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is probably the best to start off with. It's a little bit simpler and easier for both the player and the DM to get used to it.
Yeah, you don't got like 100 feats that you can pick from.
Yeah, or the weapons list, or the character creation. Everything's a lot simpler for everyone to pick out the perfect character for you.
But the diehards can really get into Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Like I really like myself. I like Pathfinder. I play more 5th edition, but I wish I played more Pathfinder.
I'm also a Pathfinder player, but I've played the Star Wars Saga, the Fantasy Flight Star Wars,
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons, Bessum, an old school DBZ game that is all D6. And I'm a person who personally likes character creation a lot. So Pathfinder is my preferred system as well. What kind of things do you think you need to get started as a DM? Like, where would you start?
Whatever system you pick, Pathfinders, D&D, Bessum, Star Wars, anything you pick, get the core book, the player's handbook, or whatever it's going to be called for the system, and get a bestiary or a monster manual. And pen and paper, basically that. Just so you can figure out how the system works, and so you can write up a characters and get used to everything that way before you even get like a board and markers, so that you can have a foundation to work from.
Yeah, like Ben said, the books are almost needed. I mean, you need a good handle on the rules, and you get that from the books and paper. And you need an attitude of not worrying about screwing up once or twice or 100 times, because it's not how many times you screw up or do this, it's how you can correct yourself from doing it again. And you grow with your players, and it's an experience for everyone. And jumping into being a dungeon master, it takes a lot of experience. But like when I started, I just jumped right in and did the first session and then read the books and was like, okay, I'm doing this wrong, and I really need to work on this. But it's just I didn't at the time have the time or the books at my disposal. But once I started getting into the books and actually reading them, it changed my style drastically.
And I totally agree with what both Ben and Andy said. I mean, you definitely need a core book for sure. I mean, that's absolutely bare minimum, core book, player's handbook, whatever. It's also nice when you're gaming with friends who can give you feedback on your DMing style and let you know if you're making mistakes, but ultimately you're the GM or DM. It's your call how the rules work anyways.
Rule number 1 is the game master is always right.
Yes.
Even when he's wrong.
Yeah, the game master's always right, even when he's wrong. So what kind of things do you guys hope for us to cover and accomplish during this podcast?
Well, I want to work on a lot of people's reactions towards NPCs. I love NPCs. They're actually my favorite part of being a DM is I get to play out other characters that normally I wouldn't be able to play as, because usually a character you want to keep with as long as you can, but an NPC, I can be whoever I want for 1-2 sessions, maybe a little bit more if it's a more constant NPC, but then I can pick someone else and I can make a new character, someone even better. And also I want to kind of touch bases with a lot of people who are DMs who get burnt out on games and give them tips on how not to be like so stressed out and how to not have a blocked mind when it comes to writing up new material.
Andy, how about you? What would you like to see happen with this podcast?
I just want to be around to answer questions for people. I basically want people to get rid of the fear that they can't do it, because that's like the biggest misconception in the world. You just need to, it's going to be like you're running through a bunch of brick walls, but you can do it. Like, I don't want people to get scared. Like, we always have enough players, but there's never enough DMs. Good DMs.
So you're like the healers back when I played World of Warcraft. Yeah, and I'd like to see all them things too. We're also going to cover like creating a world, creating encounters, creating any magical items that may not be covered in books and how to go about that. Just a whole bunch of different DMing tools that the general population can use to make their campaigns better.
To make it easier for not just the DM but the players to enjoy the game and keep enjoying it. Because you don't want to be like so burnt out on a system that you've done everything, but you don't want to overexert yourself also. So.
Exactly. So on that note, if you guys have any questions or would like us to cover anything specifically, just leave a comment, and we'll try to cover it in our next session. But as far as that's our first episode of Welcome to Dungeon. I'm your host, Adam Post, with
Ben Jensen.
And